Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to another video. My name is Abbie and today we are jumping into a gear review. It's a little bit breezy, the sun is going down and we're here in autumn. I'm actually pretty fresh, but I'm also snug as a bug because I'm in my Revolution Cyclone version 2 jacket. Mouthful, isn't it really? No, but honestly, Revolution Race is a company that's really popping up here, there and everywhere. Sustainable products or environmentally considerate products that they're creating, all sorts of cool colors, which I think is awesome because very often the outdoor industry can seem very just dark colors, be camouflage, but to stay safe in the mountains, wearing bright colors is definitely one of the first things we can do for ourselves. On the other hand, bushcraft, well, that's where the olives and the blacks come in. Regardless, this jacket, the Cyclone Jacket, comes in loads of different colours, and today I'm here just to tell you a little bit about how I've got on with this jacket. I've been playing around with it. Now, as you can see, it's a little bit big for me. I bought the wrong size, oops. But the sizes come from extra small to 2x extra large, so there's great variation. And this is a fantastic all-round jacket for year-round use. 3-layer soft shell material. It's waterproof, windproof, and highly breathable. Now, I will just add the caveat that anyone that says anything is waterproof is probably lying to you to a degree, because nothing can be completely waterproof unless it is pure plastic. So wellies are mainly the only solution for waterproof footwear, and it's sort of the same for clothing. And it's always a trade-off between waterproof ability / breathability, because where you're trying to block water from going out, you also block it up, or block water from coming in, you also block it from coming out. So it's a fine art, shall we say, the whole waterproof breathability thing. But regardless, this is 3-layer laminated material. And before we come to sort of the waterproofing and fabrics and features, let's talk about weight. So when it comes to lightweight backpacking, for example, we can skimp on the perhaps quality and features of a piece of equipment. If you're a trail runner, you want to get things as light as possible. But if you're out and about in the hills, if you're mountaineering, if you're out in winter seasons or conditions and locations where you actually need to stay safe, it is really worth carrying the extra weight to have a piece of equipment that's actually going to protect you from the elements. So this piece of kit, it retails at £162 and it weighs in size medium at 680 grams. So it's definitely not the lightest jacket out there. But what you will find as we go through the perks and features of this piece of kit, that there's a lot going for it, and that's where the weight adds up. Now, I've used the word waterproofing. Let's talk about some of the, I want to say software, because it's quite a soft jacket. But the abilities of this piece of equipment. So it's a shell jacket. In fact, Revolution Race call it a Hypershell jacket with a pro membrane. It's PFC-free, which is great for the planet. It's got a bionic finish, which is environmentally sensitive. And there's some really cool stats and figures on their website if you have a little look about sort of the waterproofing and breathability. I'm not going to break that down right now because it's a number overload, but essentially what you can gain from this is it's a nice waterproof jacket with a good balance for breathability. The fabric itself has actually got some stretch in it, so it's quite unusual actually for a shell. Shells are very often sort of laminated, which means they're quite crinkly and cold to touch. I think you'll know what I mean if you've been into an outdoor store. But this has definitely got a softer finish, and in its feel, it's got a little bit of stretch built in. So when it actually fits properly and isn't too big, like this one for me, it moves to your body and the layers that you've got underneath it, which is a really nice feature actually. As well, on waterproofing, final thing I can say there is all of the seams. So seams are where fabric has been stitched together, so sort of around zips and cuffs and that sort of thing. They're all fully taped, again, to sort of prevent water from drip feeding into your piece of equipment. Now, I will just say at some point, every single piece of waterproof equipment will wet out. It's obviously not the goal, but if you're out in absolute hammering torrential rain all day, nothing's going to keep you dry in that. Same with boots. So that's my one little caveat, as I've mentioned earlier, that waterproofing is waterproofing to a limit. Now let's look at some of the other cool features of this jacket. So what you see is what you get. It's yellow. I have gone for the, I think they call it olive oil colour, but my favourite thing about Revolution Race, aside from the environmental side of things, is the colours. Man, especially in men's, there are colours galore, and it makes me very happy. It's like the rainbow. So this jacket comes in loads of different colours. I will just say their website, certainly in my experience, can be a little bit chaotic because they have basically a clickable thing for each colour, whereas I think in a lot of other sites you click on the one product and then it breaks down the colours. So take your time to work through and find the product that works for you, because they have loads of other jackets and trousers. This might not be the one for you based upon some of the features that we're going to look at. So colours are one thing, but also let's look at this. Start nice and simple. We have a one-way zip going up and down the front here, which I'm not going to undo because it's keeping my body heat in. It is rather fresh out today. But inside of here, there's a decent sized stretchy pocket, which is great for keeping phones and cameras and electronics and generally just things that need protecting inside and away from the elements. There's also two side pockets. Again, these are all taped and laminated to stop the water getting in. Nice toggles, just about big enough, I'd say, to use with quite clunky gloves. That's sort of the point. Very, very big pockets. Sort of for size reference, you could fit an OS map in these, and they're sort of quite hand warming. Again, soft finish inside, not felt or anything like that. Certainly not silk, but definitely a nice feel inside of there. And then what we've also got here on the top is this sort of ski collar, I think is what they call it. Which side is it? It's this side. I'm trying not to move too much because I know the rustling is gonna hit the microphone. But we have this additional opening here, so you know, if we've got buffs on or we need to air or whatever, again, it's really nice soft fabric here. You can see the black there, and again that sort of goes as a backing to the zips to stop the wind coming through. But it's a really nice feature actually. You don't get it very much, and that certainly sets this apart as more of a ski jacket or a mountaineering jacket to just a hiking jacket, for example, that you'd use in winter or the shoulder seasons. So I certainly enjoy that, and again I love the softness of it. You've got all your beard guards and stuff in here, so any facial hair that you might have is not going to catch, which is great. Nobody wants that because that is painful. I say that like I have experience. I don't have a beard, so don't have experience there, but yeah, it's soft, so I can stroke it with my non-beard chin. This just got weird. Since we're in the hood region, let's move on from the chin very, very quickly. We have a helmet compatible hood. So what that simply means is it's rather large, and if you're wearing a helmet, essentially it's got some lift. I can find these a little bit annoying if you're actually not wearing a helmet, because you just have this really big hood. Now there's obviously lots of things we can do to adjust this. It's got an adjuster on the back, a toggle, which essentially I can pull and that can clasp around my head. Again, it doesn't help that this is slightly too big. But yeah, my experience with helmet compatible hoods without a helmet is they sometimes have too much space and don't protect you from the elements in the way that you would like. So I haven't found this my favorite because I don't wear a helmet all the time. I wear a hat, but not a helmet. So that's that on the helmet compatible hood. Whew, got my hat back on because that just felt very uncomfortable. Right, let's look at some of the other things this jacket's got to offer. Pit zips. Basically an essential thing for me when I'm buying a jacket is pit zips. They're the term given to a zip that you can use to ventilate your armpit/body region. Now every company does this slightly differently. Some of them they're a mere fist size, and others they're a full-on, well, it's like wearing a cape. This one's very sizable. I really appreciate it. Certainly here in the UK, or anywhere really, but if you're low level walking, we can have really muggy days where it's rainy and showery, but also warm. So you want to protect yourself and yet breathe. So pit zips are a wonderful solution. And then the other hand is, you know, you're doing a steep climb on a snowy pass, and you just need to get some ventilation whilst also protecting yourself from that incoming wind or snow or whatever it is. So pit zips, I think, are fantastic invention that has been added recently to the upper body equipment, shall we say. Sticking with the arms then, on the right arm, well, both arms, we just have Velcro cuffs. These are sort of tapered to fit the hand, meaning you really cover the wrist there when you pull them nice and tight. And then on the left side, we have a ski pass holder, zip space, here we go, which again, it's just a bit annoying because it's slightly too big for me, but that would fit in there. And then perhaps one of the more interesting features of this jacket is the RECCO locator. So that's this little thing here. Now RECCO, R-E-C-C-O, are essentially reflectors that help rescue teams and emergency services find lost or injured people in the outdoors. So having this in this piece of equipment makes you more findable in an emergency situation. Now, I'm really not going to break that down, the ins and outs of SOS and insurances and that sort of thing. Please do your own research on that, but RECCO is certainly up and coming, and you're seeing it in more and more products. So once again, that's RECCO. Do a little Google search and read a wee bit more if you're interested in that feature. Final few things then is we have the classic hem draw cord on the waist, which is great because you can lock in that heat and keep the jacket from rolling up and riding up when you're out and about on the trail. The other thing I will say about the pockets is they are slightly raised, but they're not quite rucksack compatible. So some things that's really essential for some people is you've got your rucksack belt on around your waist. It can quite often then mean that you can't access the side pockets. These are sort of the happy medium. I think you'd struggle with the bottom bit, but the top part you can access. So that's one thing about them there. And last but not least, coming back to the middle, we have a chest pocket, which again is laminated. We can access that. For size reference, it's actually quite deep, but not particularly tall. I feel like you could fit a phone in there, a couple of phones or a GPS or whatever if you needed to, but it's a nice chest pocket. For me, I haven't actually found myself using that too much because the hand pockets are so good. So yeah, that's pretty much that for this jacket. Actually, I'll give you a little twirl. Ta-da! As I say, I'm trying to stay reasonably static in order to cut down the rustling on the microphone. But I hope that this has been interesting and helpful for you. As I say, I've been playing around with this jacket now for the last few months and really getting on with it. Although I think it is time to get a size that actually fits because the bigness of it is quite annoying. I would say that the sizes of Revolution race equipment is actually on the bigger size. Don't be afraid to sort of scale down. But definitely do measurements because they're so thorough in the details that they give, you can really work out what product is right for you. Anyway, as I say, hope this has been helpful. Please let me know below if you've started exploring Revolution race equipment or if you're dedicated to a particular brand. I know Paramo, Mountain Equipment, Rab, I've used them all, I love them all. I am not affiliated to any one brand. I'm merely here to tell you about my journeys with different pieces of equipment and help you on your own personal journey to get you kitted up and outdoors. That is my one sole pure agenda here. So enjoy your adventures, guys. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay wild. I'll see you soon.